What is going on, guys? Welcome everybody to the stream. Just on the Dragon Knight, putting together a setup on PC. Best clickbait title ever, yeah, you know. What sets you thinking? Not really sets as such, more just sort of like a combination, because I'll be running the Talk. As I do feel it's probably going to be the strongest thing, or if it's set up correctly though. I haven't even got food on, I just realised. So I was thinking of putting this setup together where it's incorporating basically 3 shields that scale off max health. So you've got the leap shield, the bone shield and hardened armour, and then once it's fully leveled and fully optimised, I think the health will probably be around about 44k, with still plenty of damage. And quite a lot of heavy armour as well to get the health as high as possible. I was going to do a Warden, but I just decided to do Dragon Knight purely because of the damage shield scaling off the max health. And trying to get the health as high as possible, but still retaining... Yeah, the recoveries are still good. Why are these zombies not spawning? Sounds beefy, yeah. That's the goal. And it is, yeah, it's running the Talk. Just trying to get them as optimal as possible. I haven't done the enchantments yet on the jewellery, but 3 healthy jewellery, reinforced on the big pieces, impenetrable on the smaller pieces, all heavy apart from 1 light, 1 medium. And so I might do staff on the back bar, yeah, eye staff, I'm not sure yet. And just a maul on the front bar, sharpened. But yeah, the Talk, I mean, it can be quite good if it is utilised correctly. because it disables all the other set pieces. But that doesn't mean you can just slap on anything and it's still going to work. You need to make sure you've got the traits correct. Try stat the armour. But obviously, yeah, I went for the shield because you get the extra resources from the shield. But I might swap this to Ice Staff, I'm not sure yet. Basically, I'm just preparing this build for the upcoming Battlegrounds on update 44. So the pen's at 7k plus the major breach. So I was going to run corrosive for a bit of cheese, but I do prefer the leap because of the damage shield. Also, I probably will need to get a few more skill points as well. I've done the Undaunted, that's why these stats are quite good. So basically 20k Magicka, 21k Stamina, and you've still got high health. Might do a daily as well. To level some bits. I think the skills are not too bad. That one needs morphing. I'll wait until that one's morphed and then I might jump into a dungeon. Just a normal daily. But yeah, the talk is crazy. At first when it came out I thought it was just going to be absolute rubbish until they did change it. And I still thought it wasn't all that good, it was still a bit niche, but I do believe a lot of players are running it. If they're not hitting you with procs and stuff like the obvious stuff, I do feel, are they running the talk and high health as well? Because that's the good thing about the talk, is you can run high health and still get the damage. I think the event might be over now. I was hoping for the double XP, but oh, he's still going for 3 hours, that's what. But yeah, I put this together I did on a Warden on the PTS, and I thought might be actually better on a Dragon Knight. So basically taking advantage of the high health and getting the shields. I mean, the leap shield is crazy as it is. That shield won't be as good. I'll level that one. But 3 on top's quite good. So this will probably be my go-to Battlegrounds build. The Dragon Knight. But sometimes I'm a little bit hesitant to say, oh, it's a build because it's got talk, but it does, like I said, you do need to have things set up correctly to maximise the benefit basically, because you know if you put on too much light or too much of something, then it's not going to go right. And it's cheap to put together as well, because I was just basically just buying gold jewellery in the trait I wanted. But yeah, they should all be weapon damage, so I'm going to change all them to weapon damage. In fact, I might do that now. Well, the Inferno's about to change, I'll just wait till that pops. But Yeah, I wasn't actually going to put this together yet, but I did realise, oh, I totally forgot that the update is going to drop, I think, on the 28th, so it's quite soon. So I thought I better get sorting this out, as I do want this all raring to go when the new BGs start. Because on console I don't think it drops till sort of like mid-November time, but on PC I want to have it ready. And I was sort of logging in every sort of day, just getting the Undaunted done, but now that is finished. Because you do need the Undaunted because you want to maximise the stats. And that's why I'm running the light and medium. I mean, you could go full heavy, but I just wanted one piece of each. Right, now we can do the Inferno. Right, so let's get into a dungeon. Let's just hope it's a... Unfortunately I've got the ESO Plus, so I'm hoping for a non-DLC, just a quick run. Go and get those enchants.
You pay your bounty. Fine. But next time I won't be so nice.
Speak.
I should be fine to go full weapon damage, but if I do find the sustain is a bit lacking, I might drop on a recovery one. I don't think I've got the last one there. Did I?
How can I?
Probably not. Oh, sweet Bungle Grotto. I just realised I don't think I've got a taunt, so I'm going to be like the worst sort of player. But mind you, it's on normal, so shouldn't be an issue. But to be honest, on a normal dungeon, should be totally fine. I did actually have a taunt slotted on this, I should have went in as a damage.
I need aid.
I mean, obviously if it was a veteran dungeon then I'd be more concerned. I think we'll be alright. Shame it weren't Fungal Grotto 1. That'd be basically over. This dungeon can actually be a little bit tricky on veteran with this mechanic here, but on normal, I ain't got really any worries. But that is, I said, the beauty of the talk is that, you know, it's giving you that all that free damage. It's basically having, you know, like a 5-piece, you know, clever alchemist sort of damage level, maybe even slightly more. I think it's like 1,000. And I don't have to run medium, do you know what I mean, to get that damage. Just have to, I do have to check the critical damage though. Is the one thing is my only concern on this build at the moment. Because I'm sure it was like 4% or something rubbish, so that's the thing I might have to adjust. But other than that, everything's there. The recovery's there, damage is there, health's there, stats, resistances. Because I did fully optimise this on the PTS, and so I've basically mimicked what I did on the PTS, and like I said, there is, you know, everything is there that you need. So it's just the critical damage I do need to check. I might change the maul to like precise or something to compensate for that. No, it's not critical damage, is it? Battle axe, I mean. That will give me more critical damage. So that's basically the only weakness that I can see so far on this build. It's going to be super tanky, super hard hitting, good recoveries, and you can run. I could change the food as well if the recoveries are a bit too low, but I think the recoveries look fairly good. Probably stay on the back bar if I can remember, so when the XP pops, it'll level the skills on the back bar. That's really annoying though when you do a dungeon. It only like levels what you're actually physically got equipped at the end. So if you're obviously running a 2-bar, then if you're on the back bar, don't get leveled. I think is something they should have sorted. Should have just been distributed, you know, evenly. Again, I don't think this particular boss, even on veteran, isn't really that difficult. You just gotta stay out of these sort of like inky black spots on the floor that just grow. As long as you're not in them, I don't think there's any sort of one shot. Like I said, on normal you're laughing anyway. Bit annoying if you're using a melee character. On veteran anyway. Oh, I got the same either. Right, let's go to shield. Job done. Did I get no experience?
You're alive. We arrived as soon as we could.
Thanks to our friends, not all was lost today.
Oh no, it did. It just didn't pop on the screen for some reason. So them 3 are done. Looks like Pika's done if I can see. Jubby jubby.
May I be?
So I said this is still sort of in the theory crafting test stage, but I've pretty much got it how I want already. Yeah, just got to check that critical damage, and then it's all good. Right, what is up with these servers today? I can get out of it. Wait again. Let's go to another one. Just want one more enchant. Right, they're all doing it. Yeah, what's going on? Mind you, I could leave that one on. That one's not too bad. But that's basically how I wanted the stats. And yeah, I don't see anyone using the bone shield, which I find is a bit unusual. It's quite a beefy shield. I think it also does damage as well, the morph. Let's go to... And you can... I said the good thing about talk, yeah, you can literally just slap everything into health, just to push that health as high as possible. Like I said, and the magicka and stamina are still okay. Let's see if we can shed some points. Well, I'm not using corrosive, that can come off. Literally got no points in two-handed. Not going to be sneaking. All heavy's done. I need that. I'm using that. Not using Fighters Guild, so I've got the Undaunted on. Sigic on. You're probably going to need all of them. Don't need charging manoeuvre. So I've freed up a couple of bits. Burning embers, do I want that? Yes, I do. Oh, so they're still being levelled. I'm looking and thinking, that's not right. Could even go dual wield on this, but I just thought I'd just go two-handed. I do want to keep the sword and shield. And we're done. It's basically just points into the two-handed. Too bad. Still going to need a few more points. There's some more there. 2 more, so 2 points there. That's all good. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So probably about 11 skill points I need. So what I'll do is go somewhere fresh and just start picking them up, I think. After about 6 I get bored. Yeah, might keep that recovery one going. I mean 6k weapon damage, it's probably going to push to about 7k weapon damage. Spell critical's a little bit low, and the critical damage I need to sort out. I think resistances are all good. Yeah, resistances are sweet. Critical resistance is a bit low, but I don't have a lot of CP because I'm building it for BGs anyway, so... Because normally I would slot like the resilience CP. I said you're getting to reduce your damage taken, so you're going to be tanky with 3 shields that scale all off to your max health. You're getting a ton of weapon and spell damage, you've got a ton of recovery, so the only thing I was focusing on is the penetration there. And obviously, yeah, the critical damage and critical chance. That's the 3 things I just need to adjust and just work on. But again, I'm missing a few points in the armour side anyway, so that could be why. I mean, I'd normally run a race against time or something for the minor force. Don't know, what amount have I got? A rubbish one. Right, so let's go and get some more. But yeah, it was such a pain to get that, the talk, but it's totally worth it. You don't have to keep spending money and tons of gold on expensive sets, because you can just chuck anything on as long as it fits what you need. Like I said, it's just as long as the enchantments are there, the weight of the armour's correct, the type of weapons, and obviously the traits and all the enchants on the jewellery. But this is what the talk is allowing you to do. It's allowing you to build even tankier than ever before, while still retaining recovery and damage. None of these in delves. Don't think they are they? Might as well grab all them. But yeah, funny enough, I really thought that the Warden would have the highest health with this particular setup, because this setup can obviously be used on any class. But it's actually the Nightblade that actually cracks the highest damage using this setup. I thought it'd be the Warden because of the minor toughness buff. But the Nightblade, because of the passive, I totally forgot about the Nightblade passive. With every piece of heavy armour you have on, it gives you another health bonus. So the Nightblade it's going to be quite strong on as well. So the Nightblade was topping out at 50k health, while still, like I said, retaining everything you need, like the damage, recovery, and so on. And then I think the Warden was about 40, it was a bit lower, 45, 46k. And then the Dragon Knight, it was about around 42k. So even though the Dragon Knight is a bit lower, I'm getting 3 massive shields because they all scale off the max health. Damn, full damage is killer. So yeah, it's more the skill points than anything I need, and just leveling the actual skill lines themselves. The light, medium and the two-handed. The skills themselves are pretty much there. Just a couple more to level. But yeah, you're definitely going to see a lot more players with higher health this patch, and I'm definitely going to be running higher health as well. I know it's cheesy, but the thing is, it's because they shouldn't allow, I think, the shields and the healing to scale off max health. This is the issue. So, but obviously if it's in the game, you know, why not utilise it? Where's this one? Can't even remember where these sky shards are. I don't normally farm these ones. It's not too bad to have 5 on a small island. I used to be quite a lot of farming the nodes. Used to get a lot of bots here as well. Just got here. Been a while since I got in here. So what's new and what's the build? Well, what's new is, like I said, they have fiddled with the Nightblade. It's now got a toggle for the cloak. And yeah, this build in particular, it's just the last Alid King I'm running, which does sound a little bit like, oh well, enough said. And that's what I always thought as well. But like I said, there is a lot more that goes into it. I've been crafting this together carefully on the PTS. And I'm basically, because of the last Alid King, I can run mostly heavy and just 1 light and 1 medium, all tri-stat. And, you know, basically I was getting a ton of health and still retaining the magicka and stamina and good recoveries. Resistances are good. damage is good. Got 3 shields I'm packing on this as well. Just quickly building them up, because they all scale off your max health. So if you haven't got the last aided king, I would highly encourage you to probably get that, because it just allows you to just chuck everything into health, which is just crazy. I'm basically exploiting the mythic, because like I said, normally I'd have to run like a medium set to benefit from the more damage, but of course you don't need that, because you're getting it from the mythic, so you can just put more heavy on. And again, normally you'd put more medium on just to get a bit more recovery. Again, the mythic is providing that, so it makes sense just to put more heavy on, to just really pushing that health as far as you can go while still having a good build. And this is basically with no CP barely as well, because I'm just sort of optimising it for the new battlegrounds, because that's what we'll be doing. But yeah, I just didn't realise that the battlegrounds will be dropping in, I think it's like 10 days, it's not even that far away, so I've got to make sure I've got this all ready and raring to go. Just got to level these and the two-handed. So getting there, getting there. Is that all of them? There's one more. Why are they not showing up on the map completion? No idea. So if you see a player, like I said, with high health, you know, and they're not running proc sets, and they're doing really good damage, and they're really tanky, they're probably running the talk. Because if you look at the talk at face value, it does look a bit trash, because it disables other sets, but if you really look into it and really build around it, you know, build against its strengths, you know, you can really build something really good. Like I said, I basically had this set up on the Theory Crafted build that I released, the Shining Lady it was called, with a 50k health brawler Nightblade. Exactly the same setup, and yeah, it's just crazy. You just push into the 50k health, and with the Dark Cloak, it's just going to give you crazy heal ticks because it scales off max health. Aelid King Talk didn't receive any nerfs so far. No, it hasn't. I mean, to be honest, it should receive nerfs, because it's just, like I said, it's just allowing you to build fully into health, and it's allowing you to run more heavy than you should, because obviously normally you wouldn't run maybe 5 heavies, a bit extreme on a typical build, because you're just losing so much damage and recovery. But of course the talk is making up for that. Not to mention you're getting the damage reduction, which I keep forgetting. So you're getting the 15% undeath, because that was nerfed, and then I'm getting the 15% from the talk. So it's definitely worth getting if you want to do a stat based build, you know, with no procs, because obviously monster sets won't work, arena weapons won't work, other sets won't work. Even if they're just 2-piece, they're not going to work. Cold Harbour. Is there anyone in Cold Harbour? You never see anyone in Cold Harbour. There's not players on. Got a few in Mournold. A sweet little leveling spot. Yeah, so the last Ailey King hasn't received anything. it's too strong a mythic if it's built correctly. But mind you could say that about a lot of the other mythics, you know, if you are building them correctly, not just putting them on, they can be really good. I haven't even got the vampire. I don't really need the stages yet. I normally level in Cold Harbour if I want to hit mobs. The Bile Laboratory, I haven't got access to that. I just remember to get the mythic when I go back. Yeah, I mean, it was a real pain to get. I really couldn't stand doing that Infinite Archive. It's alright in small doses, but it's just the issue with the Infinite Archive is just the level of other leads. You just keep getting different leads that are just nothing to even do at all. And yeah, it definitely took me a solid 2 weeks to farm of just relentlessly doing like 2 or 3 hours a day. But yeah, it's definitely worth it, in my opinion, if you don't want to run procs and you just want to do a big stat dense build. Probably better off on the horse, to be honest. I've already done my dungeon daily. A bit of XP. Yeah, I've never seen a setup really that can really do it all. You know, while still retaining good damage. I mean, just having everything, you know, being, you know, good high health. I mean, normally the Dragonite builds I'll run, they'll sort of have around like sort of the 30k, between 35k if I'm lucky. But yeah, you can really push the health. And the thing is, like I said, why not? If I'm running 3 shields and they all scale off max health, it just makes sense just to push as much health as possible. I don't like the Magicka and Stamina bars too low, but I said they're just touching over 20k each, so no worries there. 2 weeks I didn't even complete in 2 months after it was released. Yeah, it was all I was doing. It was just really, I mean, like when the archive was released, I was in it quite a lot because it was new. I was just getting all the achievements and that, doing all the side quests, and I literally done the whole lot. And then when it actually finally released the Aelid King afterwards, it said you got to farm the archive. I was so burnt out from the archive, I just thought, you know, I can't do this, and I just put it off and put it off. And then when I started seeing that the mythic was worth having, I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to go for it. But yeah, it is a real killer to farm. I don't know if the leads are bugged, I'll just say it's just a sheer number of leads. There's just far too much randomisation in the archive. But it definitely was the hardest leads I've ever had to farm. Well, they're pretty much there, to be honest. The front bars. The leap and the flames. The bone shield is almost there. We want them all for that. I think it's the spiked bone shield I'm going to be using. I think it also gives you allies shields as well. And you know, like I said, I don't think a lot of players use that shield in PvP, but I see because it's scaling off the max health. If it didn't scale off max health, I probably wouldn't have used it. Got up another level in it. Damn it. So I thought I'd just jump on the diamond train just to level a bit easier, so I can just discuss some other stuff. Try and get that bone shield up. Yeah, so now I ain't got to worry too much about eating enemies, just sort of get the XP passively if I'm in a group. But like I said, yeah, the upcoming BGs, I am looking forward to it because it's new content at the end of the day. So I don't want to be too critical on it. I know I said players wanted the you know, the Cyrodiil updates and that. Whether you're actually ever going to get any, who knows. But like I said, they drop in like 10 or 11 days, so that's why I'm getting this sorted, because I just want to have a few setups I can just sort of play. I'm also releasing, there's quite a few builds I'm releasing as well. Probably release one tomorrow. I've got a really good bash build releasing. Another gank build. Quite a few to come. I thought in between, I thought I'd just do a bit of levelling on this. Yeah, I said you're going to get a lot of players in the BG. They're going to be fun. Whether or not they're going to be good. My biggest worry, like I did do a video on this, is the lopsided play, because it's just a team against a team. Which, you know, I did see some players comment that, you know, it's down to the team skill. You know, if you're in a bad team, that's your fault, which, you know, is true, you know. But the problem is, once you're sort of, you know, once they're leaning on you, a whole team, and you're being farmed on the spawn points, which you basically can be in these new BGs, there's nothing to then, there's not another team to sort of flank them from the side and keep attacking them. You know, just to give you breathing space, just to sort of regain. Because that's the problem, once it's just a slippery slope, once you start losing and, you know, all the players are dead, or there's just one player alive, it's going to be very hard to then get back and sort of turn the tide of battle without another element to sort of come into play. I think they should have kept it as the 3v3v3, because I mean take for example, you know, the Cyrodiil, it's 3 sides, you know. And why did they do that? It's because, again, if you had one alliance just completely crushing, and there was just one other alliance, do you know what I mean? It's going to make it all really hard for the other alliance to then get a footing. Whereas if there is another team, I know you can get 2 alliances, just pin 1 alliance, but if you've got another alliance at least, do you know what I mean, then they can start chipping away. So, you know, say Red's got all the keeps and they're absolutely hammering the Blues. Blues have got no keeps, they're just getting gated basically, and they just cannot come back. You know, with Yellow, they can then start taking the red keeps, you know what I mean? So basically start eating away at the, you know, say Red was dominating, and then it would give Blue a chance, because they would have a distraction, you know, different alliance coming in. But if you remove that third element and you're down to just 50-50, this is what my worry is, you know what I mean? Like, it's just going to be so lopsided. I mean, obviously if you have a evenly balanced BG, you know, happy days, you know. Some players get killed on their team, some players get killed on your team, and there's no team sort of dominating. Like I said, I've only played a handful of the new BGs on PTS, so it was very hard to sort of do a full analysis, and I hope I'm wrong. Because I do want them to succeed, because I do feel if this PvP update is well received and people do enjoy it, and it brings more players back, that's going to be good news for the PvP community, because then they might think, well, if the BGs has worked quite well and it's been well received, then hopefully maybe we should do some more PvP updates. Maybe we should update the Imperial City, or maybe we could start updating Cyrodiil. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I do want it to succeed. I don't want to keep hating on it, do you know what I mean? Because I do want it to succeed, because I feel like they do that one stepping stone, they're dipping their toes in the water, seeing if it's working, and if it is working and it does, you know, it's well received and there is an appetite for more PvP, then, you know, hopefully we'll get more PvP, and then they might do Cyrodiil, you know what I mean? That's what I'm hoping for. I just feel that they shouldn't have removed the old BGs. I just think what players were just sort of expecting with just a couple new modes and about 3 or 4 new maps would have done nicely, but to remove the old BG style and then just completely push the new style on you, it's risky. But hopefully, like I said, hopefully it will work. But like I said, I'm still looking forward to it because regardless of what it is, it's still PvP, new PvP content, which at this point, you know, you're pleased to see anything PvP related these days. But on a PvE note, I do miss the dungeons that used to drop in, I think it's September, October time every year, whereas you're only getting like 1 pack of dungeons now, which is like the beginning of the year, which is a bit of a shame because I do enjoy the dungeons as well. I mean, that's what they could do moving forward, you know. Next year you might get a dungeon pack and then you get the chapter in the middle, and then the end of the year will be more focused on PvP, and that would suit me to the ground. Even though I said I do prefer the 4 dungeons a year, but if it's replaced with PvP content, then happy days, because then you're getting a nice even balance. You're getting fresh PvE content and you're also getting fresh PvP content every year, rather than just fully focusing on PvE. Really stop bar swapping. But yeah, that's just like my analysis and just my expectations. Also, I do want to talk about as well what the new chapter might be, as I do still like the PvE content. I'm not a big quester though, I must admit. I do find the questing a bit numbing, but I do still enjoy the story. But Gold Road I did find really bland and boring. So hopefully they'll come with a strong chapter. I do feel it could be something like Winterhold here. I've heard people say. I don't think it's going to be Hammerfell because of the Elder Scrolls 6. Could be there. Or you might get a bit of Black Marsh. So something like that it's going to be. Or the Isle of Ghosts I would like to see as well. If it's the Isle of Ghosts, or I think it's called something like that. Because I do miss like a snow themed one. But yeah, unfortunately I did feel Gold Road was a bit underwhelming. The scribing I quite like though. It definitely has its place. And the good thing about scribing is it's not super, it can be overpowered again, you know, if it's really utilised, but it's not for every build, and every build doesn't need it. I mean, a lot of players use the magical contingencies really good, but I think the vast majority of skills are not really used. It's not like, oh, I've got to have scribing to still be good in PvP, do you know what I mean? A lot of builds, I mean, like this build, I'm not even using scribing on it. You could definitely work it in. But what I see the scribing is, I don't see it as a necessity. I just see it more as, it's like a gap filler. If you're missing like a buff that you could really deal with, or just something you just want to add a little extra. Is it going to make or break a build not having scribing? No, it's not. It's just the icing on the cake. Is this bone shield thing going to milk it? No, not yet.
10 anchors drop for each that is destroyed.
But I've played quite a lot of Dragon Knight builds, and I do feel this is probably the best setup I've probably done. Like, but I'm talking sort of stat wise, without, you know, silly procs. I say silly procs, you know, just having a proc build. I've got nothing against proc builds really. But yeah, the one-handed and shield is done, just the two-handed of what I'm doing, just the armor skill lines.
Your pathetic attempts to save this world amuse me. When you destroy the next, this one will have returned.
What? No way. One more. But yeah, that's my opinion, is that I don't think any shield should scale off max health. You should probably scale off something else, I'm not quite sure what. Because obviously the problem is, will it affect the PvE community with like tanks and stuff? I need to more for that. And I don't think healing should scale off max health as well, like the polar wind is too strong. Healers should be squishy. You know, just like DPS, they should be squishy. It's the tank that should be absorbing the damage. Healers shouldn't be able to absorb tons of damage, they should just be healing other players but still be squishy. So having healers with super high health, I mean, don't get me wrong, I've played as a PvP healer with high health, it is fun, but I can see why it's so aggravating, because it's really hard to put them down because the health is just so high.
Man is mortal and doomed to death, failure, and loss.
What you should have to do is build into like spell damage and stats, and the healing should all scale off that. But again, see, anything they do is going to have knock-on effects, this is the problem. Right, let's have a look at that bone shield and all. Upgrades in grant major vitality or absorbing the cause damage, so yeah. So it's very, very similar to the hardened armour. So that's going to return damage to the enemy and give you a shield. That's going to return damage to the enemy and also give me a shield, and they're similar size as well. So So therefore we're going to have 3 shields. Yeah, I think I'll leave it there, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into the stream. I'll keep on leveling this. So catch me in the next stream.